man, I am nobody. I always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. I am Mama Ducks, Baby Duck, Mr. No Ducks himself, Quack. Quack. I know that my AM is pretty much a nighttime for y'all, but I'm fresh off work. I already hopped in the shower. I already done put something in my stomach. I'm about to sit back and relax and play this WWE2K26 while listening to a debate from Kent Hovind and Dr. Greg on the topic of evolution versus creation. Let's get into it, man. I appreciate everybody that's up. Whether it's late for you or whether it's early for you, I appreciate everybody who tuning in. If you want to, you can hit the link in the chat. Of course, you can join the panel, join the show. Let me know what you think about what you heard, because I am definitely about to give my reaction to what I'm hearing, man. So let's get into it.
Hey everybody, tonight we're debating creation versus evolution, and we're starting right now with Greg's opening statement. Thanks for being with us. The floor is all yours, Greg.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I am a bench scientist. I've been doing molecular biology for 17 years. So evolution is not just something that I read about, but it's something that I use in the lab in order to create better products, to create better organisms. And basically evolution is the change of DNA over time in a population. So these changes, DNA is the heredity part of the organism that is passed on one to the other. And
I want to stop it right there. I think there is a mass confusion on when Christians debate against evolution. We're talking about macro evolution, not micro evolution. Macro evolution says that a species can change into another species. That's the part that we disagree with. I don't think no Christian is disagreeing with evolution within itself. Like, for example, a caterpillar evolves into a butterfly, but that's its natural process. When you look at animals such as dogs, you can breed a dog as big as a Great Dane or as small as a Chihuahua. That's evolution. So we're not disagreeing with evolution within itself. Microevolution. We're totally disagreeing with macroevolution that says that a species can change into another species. We believe that the species that we have on Earth were created to be that species, and species can only reproduce after its own species. Now, when it comes to the Bible calls them kinds. Now, man have labeled what they believe a species is, and we try to yield to the point of people who believe in that stuff. But when it comes to what a kind is, the Bible says that a kind can have sex with its own kind and is going to reproduce after its own kind. Like, for example, dogs are canines. A Great Dane, a big old dog, can have sex with something as small, a little dog, as a Chihuahua. And when they produce offspring, guess what happens? Still going to be a dog. Maybe a smaller dog, maybe a bigger dog, maybe a wider dog, maybe a fatter dog. Still going to be a dog. It's still going to be in what we classify species as a canine. That's what it's going to be. And that comes from actually natural selection. Natural selection is what farmers introduced to the world, to where you can breed things a certain way to get the outcome that you are looking for within the breed, but you can't change its species or you can't change its kind. So based off of what the dude just said in the first few seconds, he's already coming to the debate with a misunderstanding of what Christians believe and what we don't believe. But let's get back into it.
Basically changes in that DNA accumulate and create different abilities for new proteins, new abilities to congregate into multicellular organisms,
but not creating a different species.
anything like that. But so we observe it in nature. It exists and we see it, but then it's also something that we understand enough that we actually use it as a tool. And this is what I think I'm going to be really focusing on in the debate, is that not only do we understand evolution, but we actually use it. So if evolution is not true, then there's something fundamental in these mechanisms that we don't understand, that maybe Kent could elucidate, and we could create big breakthroughs, because with new knowledge through scientific inquiry, we actually get technologies from that. So just going down the list of things that I wrote down that are ways that we use evolution in biology. Directed evolution got the Nobel Prize by Frances Arnold in 2018. It created new novel bonds that never existed before in nature, and she created these for pharmaceuticals and biofuel purposes. The annual flu vaccine only works because of evolution. We track the evolutionary path of these organisms, these viruses, and we track them and in their
there we go, man.
populations, and we look to see where they're going in order to try to stymie evolution. The vaccines that we take basically are trying to stop evolution in its tracks inside of our system, and our immune system is evolved in order to try to stop that. Antibiotic resistance is another big thing. So MRSA, for example, only exists because of the antibiotic that we created, that we use, and it is a response to that it actually has that antibiotic resistance. CRISPR-Cas9. Again, CRISPR-Cas9 is a bacterial defense mechanism that it uses in order to change the DNA and go after pieces of DNA that it finds within the cell. So if evolution wasn't true, then you wouldn't be able to create the protein from a bacteria inside of a eukaryotic cell. You wouldn't be able to have that knowledge going forward and that evolutionary framework in order to have like nucleotides that are similar in different organisms that can be used and used as a tool. Mouse models that we use inside of our inside of research. So we have human cells that are in the single cell stages, but then we also have medicines that we test in the mouse models. And the only way that the mouse models work, and the only way that it actually makes any sense, and why it's so why it is.
All right, Saul, I'm back, man. Again, while listening to what Dr. Greg is saying, this is my first time ever listening to Dr. Greg. I've been listening to debates like this for a double-digit amount of years. I'm familiar with the argument from both positions, from both sides, and I try my best not to be biased, of course. I definitely try to go with the information and where the information leads. But as I said in the beginning of the conversation, I think that when it comes to this evolution versus creation debate, I think that the evolutionists are the ones who don't understand that creationalists are saying that things that were created in the state that it was, and it can't change its kind, it can't change its species, even though we agree humans run faster today than what they used to run back then. What, 400 years or something like that? Humans live longer now than what we used to live back in, like I said, 300, 400, 500 years. We do understand that people used to die from the common cold. We have created a medicine to where the common cold isn't even common no more. We don't even care about it because you can buy the cure for it over the counter. That type of evolution, nobody is tripping on. We're talking about speciation, Now, there are certain medicines that get put out to where it doesn't do anything. For example, the flu shot. Nobody in my family has took the flu shot in over, how old is my oldest child? She's 22. Nobody has took a flu shot in my family in over 22 years, in my household. None of us has ever caught the flu. I can remember before that, me and my wife used to take the flu shot, and guess what? We would catch the flu every time. So when it comes to certain medicines, even though we agree with microevolution, certain medicines based off of even microevolution don't even work. So I will give it that. But I would say, for the most part, based off of the topic that we're listening to right now, when it comes to creation versus evolution, creation has to be real because we have never seen anything reproduce its own kind outside of its own kind, ever. If you get an apple seed and you plant an apple seed, guess what you're going to get? Apples. If a cow has sex with a cow, guess what you're going to get? Another cow. If a human has sex with a human, guess what you're going to get? Another human. So let's get back to it.
It's just because of evolution. There is a lot to learn from these models through and about human metabolism. For GLP-1s, Ozempic, and all that kind of stuff, we understand better the metabolism that exists from Gila monsters from 1995 research into those mechanisms, and we create.
I can't let that go. He brought up the word Ozempic. Now, Ozempic helps people lose weight. I don't have nothing against Ozempic when it comes to helping people lose weight, because you can have so much weight on you that it becomes unhealthy, and you should lose the weight. But guess what happens when you lose the weight, the muscle, the tissue on the inside? Still got that skin hanging. That skin that's hanging on the outside, still there. And you have to go have a unnatural surgery in order to get that stuff cut off, depending on how big you were. It's not like they going to the gym, getting toned, getting muscled up, and where the skin will fit with the tissue or the muscle or lack thereof. No, they're going to have it artificially, and they are losing the weight. But him bringing up evolution in this way, evolution in that way, is still unsafe, still unhealthy, depending on the person and the size that they are when they take it. Let's go.
The knowledge about how that metabolic process works create the GLP-1 agonists that are become into the technology, and then that's what we're using now. So again, if evolution is not true, then these technologies would not work. And if there was something fundamentally happening that we don't understand, then again, please let me know, and I will gladly take the Nobel Prize for it. Recombinant insulin. This is another one. Basically, diabetics are using human-made insulin that's inside a bacteria. So again, this is a human gene that's being expressed inside of bacteria. So this is a human-style insulin that is created within the bacteria. That bacteria creates that insulin, and then we use it and deliver it into humans again. So if it was not true, then it wouldn't make sense. And finally, I do want to say,
he's misunderstanding macro
this is
for micro.
A bigger debate, and it's fundamentally changed the course of how this debate plays out is the context of it. Okay, the number one thing that I talk to and I debate anti-vaxxers with is that they bring up the fact that humans are somehow 900 years old at some time.
This is not an anti-vax debate. This is a creation versus evolution debate. Now, I know Kent Hoffman. I've heard him talk plenty of times. He is an anti-vaxxer. Don't get me wrong. I didn't get the vaccine either. I have people in my family that did get the vaccine, and I'm not going to say that they turned out any kind of way, but what I will say is that I didn't get the vaccine, and I didn't turn out the way that the government said that we would turn out if we don't take the vaccine. So again, this debate is not about if a person agrees with the vaccine or not. This debate is about the way that humans animals, vegetation, etc., etc., the way that they were created, was it a part of creation, or did it evolve to become the creation that we know it today? That's the topic of debate. Stay on topic, Dr. Greg.
That Kent is one of the biggest purveyors of this conspiracy that humans used to live until 900, 950 years old, and people now are going against medical care. They're going against medical science.
I'm not trying to keep pausing it, but I agree that people lived at a certain time to be 900, 800, 700 years old. But that was before God said that no person will live beyond 120. 120 years is the lifespan of a human being. And in the era that we live in, there are there are stages where people say, oh, I'm 200, oh, I'm 300. Neither one, keyword, not one of them are able to produce a birth certificate. We know, I don't care who it is in your family, my family, somebody else's family in America, show me one person with a birth certificate who can solidify the day that they was born, who lived past the age of 120, ever since God said that his spirit will no longer remain with man past 120 years. So everybody dies at 120 now. So even though Kent Hovind believed that people in the Bible, the Old Testament, used to live 900 years, that has nothing to do with what's going on today, especially if you knew that the Bible says that there was a cutoff limit at a certain point. Let's go.
They're going against the medicines that we have created through evolution, and they are sourcing Kent's work on humans being 950 years old at one time, and they're not now.
I'm not trying to keep pausing it, bro, but this is why I keep saying what I'm saying. Those people who lived 900 and some years old, guess what? They still died. There is no medicine on earth that can make you live forever. Even in the age that we live in right now, with all the technology that we have right now, knowing that the Bible says that there are people who live 900 and some years old, why can't we even reproduce a medicine that can make somebody live to that age right now? We got computers and flying cars and Facebook and TikTok and technology that go beyond the people who lived in that day wildest dreams. Imagine somebody like Adam living 900 years who didn't really have to till the ground. He could have just created a machine that would till the ground for him. Do you think that he would rather have lived 900 years, or in the midst of him living 900 years, he could have came up with some kind of technology to where he wouldn't have to do the work that he had to do for his 900 years? See?
So therefore, humans aren't healthy now. So therefore, I'm not going to take a vaccine. And I think that, I don't think that you went on this crusade in order to do this. I don't think that was your main goal. But I think that people are taking your words seriously enough in order to forego medicine because of it. And I just want to invite you to say that you are not a medical expert, that you are not saying, because you say that you have a theological argument, that you are not saying that
I think I'm too focused on this debate. Okay, let's do it again.
As opposed to a physician, as opposed to medical science, as opposed to the research that says that vaccines and medical science are safe and effective. So I just want to give you that opportunity to kind of clear the air and try to say that you didn't have that. You're not trying to do.
My bad, y'all. I think I was too focused on this debate and not enough of the gameplay. But let's go.
Not really a cupcake, but I am super baked. Thanks to Wwe2k.
So thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening, and we're going to kick it over to Kent Hovind for his opening as well. But first, we have a quick housekeeping note, folks. If you haven't heard, DebateCon 8, Modern Day Debates flagship debate conference is happening July 25th, July 26th. Put it in your calendars in Dallas, Texas, As you can see at the bottom right of your screen, Andrew Wilson, Rachel Wilson, Destiny, you name it. It's going to be huge. I'm going to put that link for the tickets at the top of the chat, and it's also linked in the description box. VidCon 8, you don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets now. We expect them to sell out. With that, we'll kick it over to Ken. Thank you very much for being with us. The floor is all yours.
Wow, well, I'm glad to be here with you, and I'm honored. I didn't realize they thought I was the greatest conspiracy theorist against.
Right, that's what I said.
No, I will not state that I think everybody should be forced to take a vaccine. I think it should be a personal decision. If somebody doesn't want it, nobody should be forced to take anything they don't want. The government should not be involved in this. If vaccines are safe, if vaccines protect you, go take one. How can anybody else possibly give you the disease? If you think you need them, go take all you want. Don't make me take them to keep you safe. Think about it. That's dumb. Okay. So no, I will not state that. I think everybody should have freedom to do what they want in the medical field.
What's wrong with freedom?
You don't want to use the government and the strong arm of the government to force everybody to do something because you think it's right. They may not think it's right. So I think that is.
When it comes to the conscious community, everything is supposed to be black, right? And y'all say that the government is ran by the white people, right? Well, these white people are telling you that even if you choose not to take it, you should be forced to take it. And this white man is telling you that you don't have to listen to that white government that you hate anyway. Can we talk about hypocrisy?
Wrong at multiple levels. I will not state what you told me to state, but I didn't want to do this about vaccines tonight.
See, it's not about vaccines.
I'm Hovind, I taught high school science and math 15 years. I'm not the world's expert on any of those, but I pretty well up to speed on the evolution creation debate. What you shared with us, Dr. Gregg, was evidence of intelligent design. These creatures, these bacteria, are able to evolve, I'll use that word, within limits. There are limits to how far they can go. You studied them for 14 years or something and watched it happen. I bet you've observed that they have variations that can happen, but there's limits. Farmers that raise cows try to get bigger cows if they're raising for beef, or more milk if they're raising for milk, but they always run into a brick wall. There seems to be a limit. There's a limit on just about the variation within any kind of animal. They now have 450 breeds of cows, and they're still cow. Recognizable, that does not prove they're related to a mosquito. But you guys get these variations within the kind, and you see these bacteria able to, develop a new ability to do something, and say, wow, because of this, bacteria are related to elephants. That's what you guys teach. That is stupid. And even if it turns out later to be true, as of today, it is not part of science. So no, I'm not going to say that. Okay, this is what evolutionists never seem to get. I'm on all kinds of channels. They keep taking us off of YouTube, brother. I don't know why, because I'm the nicest guy I've ever met. But they keep taking us off, so we finally gave up. We put them on all other channels. Go to drdino.com. You can see all their channels. We have about 14 million views a month. Oh, I didn't realize I have a fundamental. I got to go back and watch it. Conspiracy. People used to live to be 900, and because I'm against medical science, we don't live that long. No, there's a totally different reason why the people used to live to be 900.
Let's go.
The Bible clearly teaches. I got too many charts here. The Bible clearly teaches there was a time before Noah's flood came that people lived to be over 900. And many ancient cultures, India, Pakistan, China, have legends of the Golden Age, the Google Golden Age. This is not just to the Bible. Many dozens of ancient cultures say there used to be a time when man lived to be 1,000. The Bible doesn't.
Now, I don't know where he's going. I'm listening to this debate for the first time, just like you all are. But y'all heard me say earlier, based off what Dr. Gregg said, and based off of what I know that Ken Hovind teach, I could already tell you the type of reply that Ken Hovind was going to give to what this dude just said. First off, he misrepresented Ken Hovind's argument. Ken Hovind is not against vaccines. He said that he's against people being forced to take those vaccines. And now that we're talking about people living to be 900 to 1,000 years old, and he referenced the Bible, he went beyond the Bible and said that you can find these type of talks from any ancient culture, not just the Bible. So for people that have a hate for the Bible and what it teaches and what it says, then you should also have a hate for all of those other ancient cultures outside of the Israelites, because they're saying the same thing that the Bible says. Let's go.
have anybody living to be 1,000, but the ones that are named anyway, in the 900s. And that's because the Earth had a richer oxygen concentration. Today it's about 21%. Back then it was about 32 to 35%. That's what they find in amber bubbles, 32% to 35% oxygen. So that would be optimum for the human body to live under. And I think it was greater air pressure. I'm a strong believer in what's called the canopy theory. I think there was an ice canopy above the atmosphere that compressed the air down to probably double atmospheric pressure. Squeezed all the air that now goes out 50 miles down into maybe 10. I don't know. That crystal canopy would could increase air pressure, and it could be held up by the magnetic field of the Earth, since super cold ice is magnetic, or held up by the by air pressure, like an inflatable building. You just pump up the building and it's inflated and stays up there. So I don't know. It's gone. I think it all fell down at the time of the flood. And the reason the lifespans dropped off is not because they weren't taking vaccines. Okay? The lifespans dropped off because then they have less oxygen now, less air pressure. It affected everything. That flood totally rearranged everything on the planet. And all the strata that we see, the so-called geologic column, all formed in 1 year, Noah's flood. But I cannot understand how people cannot see the obvious stupidity of claiming the layers are different ages.
Let's talk about that for a second. When you talk about the layers of the Earth, what they're saying is they dug into the ground, and they are saying that the top layer of the crust is younger than the bottom layer of the crust. Well, think about it like this. If you take pancake mix and you pour it into a bowl, is the top layer of the pancake mix older than the bottom layer of the pancake mix? No, it's not, because they both got poured into the bowl at the same time. So when it comes to people who believe in macroevolution, who try to teach that the Earth is millions and millions and millions of years old, they don't have a leg to stand on, because you can find the same thing that happened to something that y'all think is 1,000,000 years old happen in a couple of years. Fossils. They teach that fossils have to be millions and millions of years old. Well, it is proven that you can get something fossilized in, what, couple of years? So if we can prove that fossilization can happen within a couple of years, then how can they say that the fossils that they find is millions and millions and millions of years old based off the crust of the Earth? There is no new crust of the Earth. Think about that. The same crust we have now is the same crust we had back then. Africa is still Africa. Asia is still Asia. The United States is still the United States, et cetera, man. Let's get back into it.
If the top layer is younger, where did it come from?
I gotta stop
doing this. Where was it hanging out for 14.7 million years waiting to land? This dirt is the same age as this dirt. It can't be any otherwise. But this stupid geologic column really started the problem back in the 1830s, when they made up the idea that the layers are different ages, and Earth's gone through all these stages. So no, I take the position the Bible is literally true, scientifically accurate. But listen, I am not demanding that my belief in the Bible be taught in the public schools at taxpayer expense. I'm not demanding that the government get involved in medical, telling everybody what they ought to do with their body and vaccines and vitamins and all that. That's wrong. If you want total government control, go to North Korea. This country was founded by a bunch of men who said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. They're endowed by their creator with certain rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Go back and read it. So no, I'm not going to say that I think, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm getting to be pretty old and still in pretty good shape. Okay, I take a lot of vitamins. I don't take any vaccines. I don't take any drugs. If I break something, I'll go to the doctor, broken bone. Yeah, I'm not against the medical profession, but I think they've gotten way out of their what they should be doing. Okay, maybe it's a financial incentive for they'll give these vaccines for $50 or whatever they cost. I don't know. I don't take any. So now, if you think it should be right for the government to force me to take some, then you got your head screwed on backwards.
Okay? The government. The who?
The government should not be involved. It's a person. If they're safe, take them, and you're safe.
The government?
Anybody who wants to be safe.
The white man? The so-called white man?
Okay. And I think the whole concept you have. I see you're from Bernie behind you there.
And let me say this. I'm not racist at all, man. Sure, I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in only one mankind. It don't matter who you look up. If you pull their DNA up, everybody is going to be mixed with something, and it's going to be more than one thing. There is no original bloodline for us here in 2026, so there's no point for nobody to be racist. If you were a white person that owned slaves and you owned slaves because you thought that they were 3/5 of a human being, you were wrong. If you are a person, a black person today who think that the white man is the devil because of the chaos that some white people have caused, then you are wrong at the same time. People have the same characteristics. We have the same attributes. It's just that some of us have more than others in certain categories. We're all the same people. If you're mean, whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, Arab. If you're nice, whether you're black, white, Mexican, Arab, whatever else you want to, whatever other ethnicity you want to bring into the conversation. If you're a giver, you give not because of your ethnicity, because of the person that you are. If you're violent and you want to commit crimes and all that, you don't do that because of your ethnicity. You do that because of the type of characteristics and attributes that you have. So I'm not racist at all. So when y'all heard me talk about the white man and the white government, I'm only saying that for those black people who say that we shouldn't follow the government because the government is the white man, even though we have different ethnicities even inside the government that we have today. Stupidity, but let's go. So don't put me in that stupid category, is what I'm trying to say. But watch this, though.
Explains a few things. But the antibiotic resistance that has developed is because variations can happen within the bacteria, and they can modify a little bit, but they're still limited. There's still a bacteria. So this goes back to, I think, the fundamental difference.
That's a good point. Dr. Greg let it be known that he feels the way he feels because of the bacteria. But guess what? That bacteria that he's talking about is still bacteria. Isn't it funny how that bacteria can't turn into a human? Can't turn into a tree? Can't turn into an animal, can't turn into any other living organism than the organism that it already is. Now, we are all made up of atoms and bacteria, et cetera, et cetera. That's the reason why when you look up DNA, when it comes to everything that's on Earth, we share common DNA. Did you know that we share so much DNA with a banana? A banana. Ain't that funny? Isn't it funny that we share so much DNA with a fruit fly, with a mouse, with a bat, but they're not saying we're bats. They're not saying that we're bananas. Why would you think that a lot of us share the same DNA with other stuff that we can see on Earth? Because the Earth is made up of only so many elements. And the Bible says that the humans are made up of the dust of the ground. Well, don't plants and trees and all that stuff come from the ground? When an animal dies, if you do nothing to it, won't it turn back into dust that is made up of the elements of the ground? Well, that leads back to the Bible. But watch this though.
Problem is the meaning of the word evolution. This is where they try to say, evolution is true. Here's the problem, I think, very clearly. There are 6 different meanings or levels or stages to this theory of evolution. First would have to be cosmic evolution. Where did time, space, matter come from? They don't want to talk about that. They claim it's a Big Bang, which is really ridiculous. What exploded? Where did the energy come from? Where did the matter come from? Where did time come from? Where did space come from? They purposely avoid all of that. They want to jump on it.
They really do. And even when it comes to the Big Bang was thought of by a Christian. So why is it that the non-believers in the Bible can take what Bible believers come up with and then try to use it for their own? It's the same thing they do with God. If you notice, everything that a materialist believe, they believe about the material that God has already left here for us. Can we argue beyond that? Who, what left the material here for us? They can't get past it, man. The universe couldn't have created itself because the universe is not personal. If you don't know what personal means, then go look it up. The universe is not intelligent. It does not have a mind, does not have a brain. It does not give out orders. It does not dictate anything. In fact, the sun, the moon, the stars, the wind, the rain, the crust, the animals, the humans, all that, we operate. Not operate. You can tell that we've been set to do certain things. For example, an apple can't fly. Humans can't fly neither, but we can build planes. But we can't fly. I can't walk outside of my door and just literally lift off of the ground and just fly to wherever it is I want to go 20 miles away. You want to know why? Because we have limitations. Who set those limitations? What set those limitations? That has to be outside of space, time, and matter. It's no different than a person who created the computer. The person who created the computer is not inside of a computer changing the numbers and the letters that are on the screen. No, the person who created the computer is outside of the computer. Well, it's no different with the being or beings or whatever it was that created the universe, seeing that the universe did not always exist according to science. Things that have come into existence that were not into existence, EI, cars, computers, those things were created. Well, the universe wasn't always in existence. So why do evolutionists believe that the universe wasn't created when we can see, again, that things that were not in creation were created by someone or something?
Right to they want to right to number 5 and 6. Secondly, there would have to be chemical evolution.
What is going on, man?
And maybe some helium and lithium. Okay. How do you get platinum, uranium, silver, gold from hydrogen gas? I'd like to know how to do that. Okay. Then you have to have stars and planets evolving. That's never been observed. Nobody's ever seen a star or planet form. Never. In this theory that a bunch of dust clouds, think about it, the Big Bang made everything scatter out faster than the speed of light. And somehow out there, even though they're going out at radial directions like spokes on a wheel, they somehow have enough gravity to get back together out there. I tell you what, blow up a hand grenade and tell me, do the fragments ever go out in the field and come back together because of their attraction to each other? No, they get further apart. So
For the people that didn't catch it, this is what he's saying. You do not get order out of chaos. A bomb is chaos. When have somebody ever threw a bomb somewhere and it blew up and then it created something? No, it destroyed it. You can't get order out of chaos. In order to have order, you have to have an intelligent mind to be able to dictate the order that's being purveyed on who or whatever that is given the order to. That's cause and effect. We learned that in elementary, man.
Physics for years, the Big Bang Theory is dumb at multiple levels. The physical science for sure. But nobody's ever seen a planet form. How could it? How could the dust clouds form out there from an explosion from a Big Bang? They don't want to answer that or even talk about that one.
They don't want to talk about it.
Get one for your show, modern day debate. Get somebody willing to defend the Big Bang. Okay. Then you have to have organic evolution. Dr. Greg, if you deal with this stuff, how did life get started?
This is what I hear all the time when that question get asked. Oh, we're not talking about how life got started. We're just talking about what's happening here and now. Well, nobody knows how the universe was created because nobody ever seen it. While at the same time telling you that humans and apes share a common ancestor and nobody has ever seen it. They're telling you that species can be one species but turn to another species and nobody has ever seen it. You do know that farmers used to write in the BC time. No farmer in the BC time has ever wrote anything about a species turning into another species. Not one. Even the people who didn't believe in whatever God it was in their area, not one ancient writer wrote anything about, hey man, I breed cows. Man, something happened to this cow one day, man, and it produced a non-cow. No, doesn't happen. Sorry.
How did the first life get started? I don't want a theory. I'd like to see it. If it can happen wildly in nature, surely you smart guys in the laboratory can do it.
I sure can.
But if it does take a bunch of intelligent scientists working for thousands or billions of dollars to do it, to create life, that would prove it takes intelligence to make life. All you'd be doing is proving creation. You wouldn't be proving evolution, but I'd like to see you guys. Why can't they make life in the laboratory?
Why?
If it can happen in a warm little pond someplace, and you believe it did, well, that's SpongeBob science. Imagine. It's not science.
Imagine.
Then you have to have what's called macroevolution, where an animal changes to a different kind of animal.
Come on, man.
Nobody's ever seen that. These bacteria you've worked with for 14 years, I bet you $5 they are still bacteria. Aren't they? Yeah.
Yep.
So you're not seeing evolution. You're seeing a variation of the same kind of creature, of living creature. It's already alive. It's already a bacteria. It's already able to reproduce. It's already able to ingest, digest, and excrete materials. It's already ready. It's already able to respond to its environment. And you're seeing variations in this thing. It's still a bacteria. That doesn't prove
it doesn't change it to a human.
Bacteria can slowly evolve to a whale.
To a whale.
This is what the public school kids are being taught. This is not only stupid, I think it's criminal to lie to kids like that and say, we saw these bacteria have variations. They learned to digest nylon. Oh, that proves we're related to a whale. Talk about a jump in logic. So no, I take the stand, there is no evidence for evolution beyond variations within the already existing kind. I forget how many, there's 5 varieties of giraffes. They probably had a common ancestor called a giraffe. Okay. There's 167 varieties of ducks, and I bet they had a common ancestor called a duck.
Mr. No Ducks himself, quack, quack.
But you guys want to force everybody to learn, at taxpayer expense, to learn that the duck is related to the cactus.
I'm a taxpayer.
Cactus. You think this should be taught in public schools at taxpayer expense?
Nope.
I promised you did if you voted for Bernie. Now, lastly, there have to be microevolution. That's a variation within the same kind. That happens, and that's all.
Hey, look at what he's talking about. Think about people like Bernie Sanders and the people who push for that side. They are the same ones that's telling you that a boy can be a girl and a girl can be a boy. Think about that. If you are able to reproduce, and you're a girl, if you are able to have the semen inside of you to put inside of a woman and then she can reproduce, then you are a boy. Period, point blank. I don't want to hear nothing about no hermaphrodites. Even when it comes to hermaphrodites, only one side works. If they born with a penis and a vagina, based off of my research, if the vagina works, the penis don't work. And if the penis works, the vagina doesn't work. So they're still classified. A boy
Here are your winners, the team of Ethan. here are your winners. The team of Logan Paul and Joe Hendry.
Certainly doesn't wait for opportunities. She simply takes them by any means necessary. Yeah, Jada Parker is adamant that it's her time. She has no... No! Oh, no, went big and pays for it. Really thought that was going to work, but now we got a human being we have to scrape off the floor. It knew what was coming there. A sound suplex. Oh, he cuts it off. Knee to the midsection. Taking the boots to them. And now thrown back into the ring. Oh, right to the gut. Caught with the knee. Oh, what a clubbing blow. Thumped with a big blow. Drop toe hold. Putting their opponent right on the second rope now, and then shot to the midsection, getting fired up, building momentum here. A springboard teardrop. Jada just adding salt to the wound right now. Wants to finish this. Crash landing. Evades the attack and not a moment too soon. Oh, man, she finds a hard landing on the outside. Stepping out of the ring here. Oh, just deadlifting their opponent and tossing them aside. Throwing hands with such tremendous force. Big punch connected. Crashing down with a Samoan drop. She's able to steer clear of that attack. Ooh, vicious kick to the spine. Oh, just launched in the air and into a free fall. Now bringing the fight back into the ring. Struggling to find a base. Time could very well be running out. An emphatic victory.
Here is your winner, Rusev.
Rules are rules, and the referee deemed this one a count out. I think that ref's count might have been a bit fast, but hey, it's his decision.
Just look at Lash Legend, a natural-born superstar. This is a woman who was built to be a WWE superstar.
Yeah, with her size and strength, it's obvious that the bougie bully is a legend in the making.
Yeah, but Lash Legend's in there too. And we all know she's here to get whatever she damn well pleases.
Yeah, and Lash is showing us that she will not hold back on the mic or in the ring. If she wants something, she's going to do whatever it takes to get it. Oh, she retaliates. Pulling him in for the backbreaker.
Looks like Lash is locked in on her opponents.
Oh, my goodness. What a barrage of stops.
She's locked in, about to go for the kill.
Scooped up, and check out this power into a massive backbreaker. Legend having trouble gauging the offense here.
Legend needs to be resourceful in this situation. Oh, man. Looks like Lash is locked in on...
Now she might think twice about all that showboat.
Shoulders down, this might do it.
Shoulder up right away.
You cannot be serious. How? How on earth was that not even a 1 count at this point?
Into a massive backbreaker. And Lash for the win. And a last-second kick out. Legend still in this.
Nah, that was 3, man. Check the tape. Spit that tape up, man.
Range down an elbow retaliation. Jaw-shattering boot. Well, there she goes. Legend lands in motion.
Look out. What a crushing impact on the outside. Kids, do not try that at home.
Legend had that well scouted.
Lash minute connects.
Scooped up, and check out this power into a massive backbreaker. If she's not careful, that's it. She'll be counted out.
You can tell she's still dazed, and the situation is not going to get any better.
And this one is over.
Here is your winner, Lash Legend.
A countout is always a tough way to lose. It would have been great to see a pinfall or submission win here. Quite a shame it ended by countout. certainly going to want to isolate and punish that single individual.
Dangerously close to getting counted out now, fellas. Finally became aware of the count and gets back into the ring.
Lash toss out of the ring with authority. Scooped up, and check out this power into a massive backbreaker. She counters it. Oh, bang.
A countout is imminent for her if she doesn't return to the ring. And now Lash is playing to the crowd. Oh, a little left behind that uppercut.
Here are your winners, the team of Lash.
Superstars in their respective corners now for this tag team match. All set for action. And in this one, we have Lash Legend and Pete Dunne. And across from them, they will be squaring off with Lash Legend and Pete Dunne.
And trust is key to victory in a match like this. If you don't have a tag partner you can rely on, you might as well pack it in now.
Lift off through the air and connects.
Really risked it all there.
Very fortunate to hit the mark in that one.
Smash against the barricade there, man.
Legend had that well scouted.
Scooped up, and check out this power into a massive backbreaker.
She better get back in the ring. Not much time left.
Oh.
With Lash mid.
here are your winners. The team of Lash Legend and P. Dunn.
Victim to the ref's count. This one is over. I think that ref's count might have been a bit fast, but hey, it's his decision.
here are your winners, the team of Chelsea Green and Joe Hendry.
Superstars that go great together, and that win is proof. Taking on multiple opponents.
insurance.
Not sure if he should waste all his time hot dogging around. With the lariat. That'll leave a mark. She's making her way to the top turnbuckle. On the top rope. And completely missed the mark. I don't care how tough you are. Hitting the floor from that height has got to hurt.
Great ducking and dodging down.
Right to the kidneys from behind. Driven down with an elevated flatliner. And she slides her back to the mat. Climbing up the corner. And that was a well-executed attack. From the top rope. She's starting to wear down here.
Chelsea just adding salt to the wound right now. Chelsea is in a daze. It could be over soon. Here we go.
Chelsea Green.
Will that overtake Chelsea?
German suplex. All measured up. Drop kick to the spine.
Chelsea's feeling a sense of confidence here.
Chelsea Green sizing her up from the top. Take off. Crashing to the floor.
I don't know why on earth you would risk that at this point in the match. Joe has his mark.
Right across the face.
Henry has his opponent hooked.
You're on your feet. Taking this fight back into the ring. Can Joe close things out? Bam!
This has become a match that is going to end up on their greatest moments list.
And they're still not done.
Just punishing the arm.
And he's leaving the ring for the moment.
The steel chair, a classic for very good reason.
Joe Henry, look at the power here by Henry. Two count. Tornado club match.
Here are your winners, the team of Chelsea Green and Joe Hendry.
Here's the winning team of this exciting tornado tag match. This team was totally in sync, attacking in perfect unison like they were reading each other's minds.
tag to her partner.
Tags into the match.
Taking my midsection a bit better if they were in their shoes.
Big kick to the gut and a thunderous forearm to follow.
Turned it around and they kicked to the midsection.
Runaway slam. And they are on their feet.
Ooh, shot kick.
I have no idea what they're setting up for here. Oh, into an AA for the win. She makes it up, keeping her team in this. Joe Hendry. Stunning animation.
No doubt. He ended this. Hand implanting into flesh now.
Oh, that'll turn your skin red. Catches the kick. Gunther got surprised there. Just like that, sent out of the ring.
Slip under there, lift it up.
You're a nugget.
In Hendry's clutches.
And there's the Uranagi. Landed it.
Cutter.
Gunther seems unable to turn the momentum here.
All of Gunther's arsenal being restricted.
He's going to make some moves here or suffer the counter.
Oh, a massive Uranagi there.
With all these attacks on his torso, on his ribs, it's got to be hard for him to breathe right now.
Just gasping for air.
Getting up on wobbly legs, but
What a six-man tag match.
Here are your winners, the team of Gunter, Chelsea Green, and Joe Hendry.
After that count out. It's not the prettiest, most honorable, or even the most fun way to win, but hey, countouts happen.
What's he being put in? Whoa! Waist lock applied.
Now reverse drag dumps. 2.
Excited RVD hit a bit of a roadblock there.
Knee directly to the face. Piper has him clutched. Belly to belly.
I don't know if Van Dam can withstand much more of this.
RVD is certainly being tested here. The official's count is getting as close as you can cut it. Defensive instincts taking over.
Here are your winners. The team of Steve Austin, Raquel Rodriguez, RVD, and Roddy Piper.
This match has ended. I hate a count out. I feel cheated, and I know the WWE Universe feels cheated.
here is your winner, Rob Van Dam.
The challenger unable to make it back in time. The ref really had no choice. It's not the prettiest, most honorable, or even the most fun way to win, but hey, countouts happen. An underground match is unlike any other in WWE. There are no ropes, there's no escape. You're in for a fight to the bitter end. And with a submission or knockout, the only paths to victory, combat skills are at a premium here. This kind of match can be decided purely on technical ability or raw, savage strength. That's right, for some superstars, this setting is like a party, but for others, it's a nightmare. Return fire. Agonizing to be in the submission. Needs to find an escape. Looking to free the arm and does just that. Blocked the effort and cut them off with a shot to the gut. Dragon suplex. Oh, clothesline.
Rolling out now. He's getting out of there for a little bit. Buying some time to recover.
Clearly hoping something nefarious is beneath the ring.
And he doesn't even need to swing that. Candlestick very calm to inflict a ton of pain.
We've seen a few underground matches, and they seem to favor the more technical superstars on the roster.
Hey, Jack Daniels looking to bring some bones to the ankle lock.
Stone Cold, they cap out. How embarrassing.
Pass to something. Valiant effort, but couldn't hold on any longer.
Here is your winner, Chad Gable.
himself into more of a savage mindset. A bit of the sweet science there, man. Back and forth trading reversals. Impressive awareness from him. Boom! Good defense from him. Gable steals clear of that. Face first into the ring post. Staggering to his feet, but he won't like what's coming next. Barbaric, clubbing blow. Boom!
Gable making his way out of the ring again. Caught with a lariat. Get this back into the ring now.
Dropped him with a big shoulder tackle. Bam! God, that's disturbing some of the kendo snapping the flesh. Boom! Repeated hits like that are going to add up very quick. Plenty of damage being dealt here.
And Gable's hopes are waning in this one.
Yeah, Austin is not. Austin going big!
Stone Cold wins.
Here is your winner, Stone Cold Steve Austin!
Decisive win for Steve Austin.
The Underground certainly brought out a savage side in both competitors. Win or lose, there's a sense of relief that it's all over now.
And it looks like a brawl has started up in the WWE archives.
Well, these superstars may be looking to create a little history themselves. Brawling in the midst of all this rich WWE history feels as disrespectful as it is dangerous.
I'm talking about slam down with force. Caught by the bottle full force. Move!
Shouldn't there be more security to prevent this kind of thing happening in the archives?
Yeah, now that you mention it, how did they even get in there? Boom! Oh! Boom!
Totally helpless at the moment.
Straight through the table. These superstars just duking it out, creating their own piece of violent history in the process.
Oh, look out. Shrapnel spread all over the place. There he goes up that ladder. He finally reaches the top. I hope his fear of heights doesn't kick in now.
This just feels wrong to be fighting near all this history.
Yeah, a lot of interesting memories back there. Hey, I wonder if you're singles back there, Cole.
Jumping neck breaker. Ouch.
He's in a bad way, but still has something left in the tank. Sammy isn't going to like what's about to come his way.
Uh-oh. What a way to get out of that one. Stops the kick.
Battle of counters. No one's getting their full offense in. Pretty drop kick.
submission, and does. Snapmare. And she quickly turned that around.
And Roddy tossed to the outside hard.
Asuka might be looking to fly.
Wrist
Here is your winner, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Still a win. It would have been great to see a pinfall or submission win here. Quite a shame it ended by countout. The door is locked. The referee has rung the bell, and this steel cage match is officially underway. He's doing it. Going for the pin. Gets the shoulder up. Don't know how he can't get more than a 1 count at this point. Isolating the arm. Gets stopped in his tracks. Finn turns it around. Shoved into the ropes and attacking the lower back. Right to the kidneys from behind. Snapmare takedown and a kick right in the spine. Goal! Looking for the submission. Inverted figure 4 leg lock. This could be it.
Figure 4 leg lock.
Getting back to his feet, trying to fight on, but it might be too late. Looks like it was Austin dealing with a relentless attack that time. And with that move, I'd say Balor's ruthlessness will be key to his success. You have to feel limited in your abilities at this point in a steel cage match.
Inside the steel cage, your only limits are mental ones, honestly. It seems like an oxymoron, but when you're in the cage, you've got to think outside the box.
Balor being disarmed.
Spiked with that DDT, man.
Kick to the gut. Ooh, brutal forearm. He's locked up here. DDT! What a counter! What a display here. Counters on both sides. Balor having trouble shifting the tides.
This is where Balor will be tested.
Boom! Step ahead there. Excellent opportunity for Balor to shift the momentum. Finn showing it's not a time for lying down, it's a time for fighting back. Finn's on the attack with an elbow. That's gonna sting. Oh, what a kick. Using the rope to their advantage. Very effective. Oh, man, Balor goes for the pin. And Finn Balor scores the win.
Here is your winner, Finn
see a heightened sense of aggression from them.
Clear out of the ring has to be all out of sorts right now.
Stone Cold, not even a little close to backing down here.
Austin is all fired up.
Fends it off. Good counter. Ooh, the forearm. He's got him down to the pin here. No, he punched the shoulder before three.
You cannot get much closer to the end than that. Austin was really there, man. Knocking all the air out with a knee.
It looked like Balor's quest for excellence was met with some resistance there.
Yeah, Austin displaying a higher level of aggression.
Armed shut the door. This could be over. And he kicks out of the pin and one.
Wow, I thought for sure that was it.
Escape just in time.
Pass him in the corner, thinking of the next move.
They just talking trash. Balor retaliates. Clubbing blow to the back.
The arm being walked over mercilessly.
Stop to the belly. Blow to the breadbasket.
Boot to the stomach.
Steve Austin's down. Could this be the end? An exhausting match, but a victory he'll savor forever.
Here is your winner, Finn Balor. Here is your winner, Finn Balor.
And what differentiates a steel cage from, say, an elimination chamber? Simple. Those matches encourage creativity. You can leave the ring, you can move around. This match encourages proximity. You are locked in with your opponent. Or maybe they're locked in with you. Not sure if he should waste all his time hot-dogging around. Austin gets stymied.
And unfortunate damage now.
Imagine that when you're locked inside a steel cage, a sense of desperation can set in.
That's right. And you can either let that feeling shut you down or turn it into motivation. Let that desperation drive you to overpower the competition. Got out of dodge that time. Austin with great awareness.
He's looking a little battered now. Yeah, and this is the hostility
here is your winner, Finn Balor!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner, or at least what's left of one. Celebrating now, visiting the medical facility tomorrow. Austin forced to leave the ring with a bruised ego. This loss won't sit well